Don't you want it? 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 You lose your little mind. 5, 10.
Deadlights Pod. Welcome to the Deadlights Podcast. I am your host, Sam Johnson.
And I am Leslie, bringing you your weekly dose of horror. For horror.
For her.
For her.
Welcome to the Her Show.
Her show.
Welcome back, y'all.
Yeah, welcome.
We're here.
It's just us.
It's us, classic.
Yeah. Classic.
Sometimes prefer these, you know. We've had great...
Don't say that. Our guests have been amazing.
We've had great guests. That's all I'm going to say. We've had great guests, but it's sometimes
we
nice to return
to
talking.
form.
This is true.
That's a thing that we like doing. Literally talking.
Yeah.
And it's great because sometimes I feel like I can go on and on and on. And you also go on and on and on. And it's great.
Yeah. I mean, since you showed up here at my house this morning, we pretty much haven't stopped talking. So it's usually how it goes. But I think makes us a pretty good dynamic duo for hosting a show.
Podcast.
It'd be kind of uncomfortable if we had just like long moments of silence of just like, now what?
Yeah, it's like,
now what do we talk about?
Now? I guess we never go bored.
We never get bored. No, that is very nice. That is very nice. Well, speaking of bored, sorry, that wasn't towards this movie, but
I mean,
we watched an interesting one today.
You know, I'm glad that we didn't have a guest. I'm okay. I know that you're seeing me drink something, but I literally just taken sips.
2 sips.
I don't drink
lightweight
as much anymore. No, but I guess this was a perfect movie to not have a guest.
Yes. It was definitely different and, at times hard to watch. And there's some definitely accepting of bad acting and questionable storylines that we had to do in this one.
Yes.
But, that's why I like this whole us choosing these movies at random. Because first of all, it forces us to watch some of these movies that we probably never would have seen before.
Yeah, I've never heard of this movie.
I had seen it on a list of movies that you've never heard of, but should see. So there you go.
Well,
I think that there's these movies that go under the radar that do deserve to be seen. Whether we like it or not, it does deserve a watch. And there are elements of every movie, I think, that are enjoyable and things that we can find in here.
Absolutely.
To praise,
Yeah.
So I think it's totally okay that we are finding these off the beaten path movies that most people have not seen or even heard of, and maybe we didn't like it fully, but that's okay.
That's okay.
Let's talk about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What did we watch?
What did we watch? We watched Carnival of Souls from 1962, directed by Herk, Harvey, and written by John Clifford. After a traumatic accident, a woman becomes drawn to a mysterious abandoned carnival. Heavy organs. Heavy organs.
That was me trying to be an organ, and it didn't work.
I believed it. Shall we get into it?
Let's do it.
Let's go. Want to race? The movie just starts. The movie just there's no music it's screen on. Want to race?
Yeah, I was just like, what? Okay, we're here.
Whoa, shit, I gotta start writing down notes.
Yeah. Want to drag. Want to drag?
Want to drag.
And at first I thought he meant a drag from a cigarette. And then I was like, oh, they're in cars. And I mean, she was smoking.
She was smoking.
The driver of the car.
We're in the 1960s, so we got the big cars.
Big old cars, greaser type guys.
Mm-hmm. Skinny, petite women.
God, yeah, they were so small.
Yeah. And we start with a drag race it's a car of guys and a car of women. Mm-hmm. There's definitely an element of gender in this movie.
Yes.
For sure. And the difference between men and women and how men view women and how they want to help women, but seemingly almost for their gain in the end.
Oh, yeah.
And so, but we race, and Mary, who's our main character, isn't driving. She's in shotgun.
She is clinging to life.
She's nervous.
Grabbing onto everything, and she's like, fuck, this is not a good idea. Even though we haven't heard a single word from her.
Yeah, you could tell. You could tell she's getting concerned, and they're doing some like crazy whips around corners and like almost like bumping into each other too, like reckless driving.
And then they start going down the bridge together when it is one lane car.
Yeah. And they're like, the cars are kind of bumping each other, and then boop! Guy car bumps the lady car.
Bye, women!
Bye, ladies! The 3 ladies go off in the river below.
In the river!
It's
deep enough for it to literally sink.
And they're gone. And the flow of the river is like super hard. And they're pretty much lost under the water with their car.
Yeah.
And that's when we get the title card. And just the credits are all over this just flowing water. This hard flowing water.
It's making you just think that they're probably never going to come back.
Yeah.
Because the current is, and it's murky too. So it's like, it may have a bunch of loose sand all over the place, but you don't know how deep it is.
Yeah.
For it, like, it sunk a fucking big ass car.
Right. And the next scene is pretty much like the police searching for the car. And the guys that were racing them are there, and they're being questioned about what happened.
Yeah, they're getting a testament from them, and the guy immediately is like, it wasn't our fault.
Yeah.
You know, we were just racing and blah, blah, blah. And it was fun.
It was fun. It wasn't... It was so weird that the first thing that he immediately says is, it wasn't me. It wasn't my fault.
It wasn't my fault.
But it totally was their fault. They were bumping them on the bridge. It's like...
They were like taunting them. And there's no arrest.
Nope. This seems harmless. They just went off the bridge.
They...
Kids being kids.
Women shouldn't be driving anyway.
I'm sure they couldn't handle this big car.
No worry.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Don't worry, kid. You're fine.
You're fine.
But Mary does end up wandering out of the river.
Yeah.
And all the
men. She's so muddy.
She's so muddy and obviously wet, and she doesn't have shoes on. And all the men see her, and they immediately all rush over to help her, you know? This is the first image that we see of, like, men stepping into, like, oh, there she is. Let's go. We're going to put our coat around her. You'll be okay, miss.
Yeah. Put a blanket around her. Like, all you need, like, immediately telling her what she needed. And, you know, she just, like, doesn't say anything.
No, she hasn't talked. Yeah. No. This whole movie, she has not said a word.
They did ask her where the other two were. The other two ladies. And she was just like...
Oh. The acting was very overdramatic. So we've watched movies from the 60s and from the 50s.
Yeah.
That, yes, the acting style is a little more overdramatic, but I feel like more believable than this. Like, The Night of the Hunter was 1955. Yes, there were some definite overacting that was happening there, but I was able to buy into that way more than I was able to buy into this.
Well, because for me, what bad acting does is it doesn't tell me a good enough story. Like, I don't know where our emotional arcs are going to be, because everything is just so fucking monotone. I don't know the direction. I don't know. Are we supposed to believe them? Are we not supposed to believe them? Like, what is the emotion of this scene of your character right now?
And her especially, it felt like in some scenes she was, and I don't know if this is how she was directed, but in some scenes she seemed like overly happy when she shouldn't be. And then in other scenes she was so like dead eyes that I didn't know if that's how it was supposed to be or if that's just how she just wasn't giving enough as an actor.
No.
You're right. It was hard to
It is.
understand the emotional arc of her character, especially.
Yeah.
In this movie.
Yeah. We just saw screaming sometimes, and then just.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh.
What is happening?
What is happening?
What's happening? But what they do establish in these first couple scenes about her character is we start off in a organ factory, I think,
Yeah.
where they make organs, and she's an organist.
Yeah.
She's playing the music. We have another shot of her playing this massive organ.
So huge.
Huge.
Holy shit.
And all these men are like hearing the music and just like all like drawn to her playing the music and watching her. It felt very siren-y, you know. It felt like, oh my God, we're like being pulled in by this beautiful woman playing this beautiful music kind of thing.
And back in the day, I'm pretty sure she was like fucking maybe 23, 24 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Prime, like, to be wed and have children.
Primo. She's ready to go.
She's ready to go, ladies and gentlemen. Look at me playing the organ. Me.
And her boss comes up to her, and this is where we establish that she's leaving town. She's getting out of this town, and she's traveling to Utah to be the organist for a church there. Mm-hmm. She's like, I'm getting out of here. I gotta leave town. I'm driving straight through.
Yeah. What does he say? He says something like, it takes more than intellect to play the organ. Put some soul into it. And that's when I, like, established that, okay, yes, you're great at playing the organ. You're very knowledgeable, and I'm pretty sure not everybody knows how to play an organ. But you are not passionate about it.
No. She's kind of dead inside.
Yeah.
And it's established multiple times that she's going to play the organ for a church, but she does not believe in
She's not a religious person.
She's not religious. She's like, I don't understand why I have to be religious to play the organ. It's just a job for me. Mm-hmm. And so you're right. There's nothing behind this. It's just a job.
Yeah.
It is only a job.
Also, she is a woman going about unwed, mm-hmm. no family, mm-hmm. in a time where, you know, society was telling her she needs to settle down and stuff. Like, what are you doing without no man? Mm-hmm. You know? So then she is providing for herself in something that she is good at, and that's it. Like, she knows nothing about Utah, nothing about this church, and she's just traveling by herself. And
at least at the beginning of this movie, it seems like that's how she wants it. She wants to be alone. Mm-hmm. She wants to be isolated. She says that. And the beginning of this movie, it forces her to be, because she just lost her two friends. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming those were probably her closest friends.
Her that only are now friends.
Dead. Her only friends that are now dead. So yes. She is alone. And I think how she's been dealing with the trauma of that so far is mm-hmm. to just isolate herself and just do what she knows she's good at. Just throw herself completely into being an organist. I'm going to ignore all of this trauma that I went through and not deal with it. I'm just going to run away.
Yeah.
Run away from the town and run away from my problems.
I get it.
It's an easy thing to do. I mean, she even says at the end of the scene, I'm never coming back.
Yeah.
Never coming back. And it turns 2 nights, and she arrives in Utah. And she's approaching the town that she's going to settle in. Mm-hmm. And keeps looking over at this
big-ass structure.
Big structure. Big building. And it's just, for some reason, she just keeps looking at it.
It's like drawing her in.
And we're hearing the organ music, too, which is mm-hmm. almost kind of like this. We already had the scene of organ music bringing all those men, like attracting them to her. So now every time we hear this organ music, it's like this pulling feeling, this attraction that she can't help but feel towards that structure. And she doesn't know why.
Yeah.
And we get this
crazy.
We get this cool. I mean,
I do like that shot.
A lot of really cool reflection shots in this movie, and this is definitely the first example of a really cool moment where she's driving in her car and she looks over at the passenger side window and sees herself in the reflection, and then she's looking back at the road, and then we look back. Creepy man.
Creepy man.
The creepy man is right outside.
Creepy man.
And she like, what the hell?
Yeah.
He's gone. And she's like, what the fuck? And then she looks forward and he's right in front of the car. And that causes her to steer off the road. And actually, I thought she crashed.
Nah.
But she was just like...
Those cars?
Those fucking brick shithouse cars.
Absolutely
indestructible.
Not. Absolutely. She was just like, let me pull this back.
Like, well, that was weird. I'm getting out of here. And then she pulls into a gas station, and this is where she learns about what that structure was. Mm-hmm. She asks the gas station attendant, what's that big old creepy building over there? What's that all about?
Can you, with her hand, with 60s
fill it up!
Yeah.
Doesn't know, please.
Like, hey, man, what'd you need? Fill it up!
Okay, shit. Very standoffish.
Very standoffish.
Okay, I'll fill it up, ma'am.
She like gets out and he's like, do you need anything else? And she's like, well, yeah. Do you know what that old creepy building is?
Well, that one is the old bathhouse. And then it became a big Richardson dance hall. And then it became a carnival. Damn, there's some history to that place.
What a life that.
But now it's closed. Now it's abandoned. It was many things, but now it's nothing. Yeah, it is kind of sad.
It was huge.
Huge
building.
I mean, and we have this kind of idea of like this building that has gone through a lot and has had many different things happen within its walls, and it's kind of holding on to a lot of those memories. You know, it's holding on to spirits, and it's holding on to all the energy that has been within there. Very kind of haunted housey.
Which I totally believe that if there's energy there is because definitely something was not resolved. Not
over. Maybe a lot of things weren't resolved because there was a lot of people in there.
There's a lot of people.
And you know, I can kind of see that going back to her character too. You know, there's a lot within her that is unresolved that needs resolving, and no matter how much she wants to try to escape that, running away to Utah, never going to solve it because you can't escape yourself and what you've gone through. She also arrived at the boarding house. This is where she's going to live for the foreseeable future while she's the organist at this church. I think her name was Miss Thompson? Miss Thomas?
Miss Thomas.
Miss Thomas,
Miss Thomas, I believe.
The boarding house manager is showing her room. She specifically shows her the bath, which, you know, more flowing water, more imagery in there.
And she was just like, you can take all the baths you want. I'm not fuzzy about that. And I'm like, why would you?
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway. She said it twice. You know, she said
you can take a bath. You can take a bath.
You can take a bath. I would really love you to take a bath.
God, oh my
God. I scrub that bath with a Hawks. Like, please.
Holding that.
With Ajax.
Ajax. The best bathroom cleaner for dead souls.
Ching!
Cha-ching! And so she's like unpacking her stuff, and this is another kind of reflection moment that she's unpacking her suitcase and she looks up at the window and creepy guy's back.
Creepy back.
Right outside.
Creepy back.
Creepy back.
I'm bringing creepy back. Yeah.
Oh, something dead souls.
Yeah.
He's right outside that window, God. And she opens the window. He's gone.
And then she smiles.
Yeah, why did she smile?
I have no idea. I was like, what, are you relieved that there's no creepy man? But you still saw a creepy man.
This is the second time you've seen a creepy man.
Third time,
yeah.
Third time, and yet you're like, it was just me.
I do love that, like, when she sees her reflection in the window, it's like this weird, like, double reflection of herself. It's just a cool shot to me, and it's like, she's not... How she looks at herself probably isn't the best, Or even alive.
Is she creepy man?
Is she creepy man?
Is she creepy man?
Yeah. Is she creepy man?
Is she creepy man?
I mean, that is a good question of, like, this creepy man, which is literally how I wrote him down on my notes.
Me, same.
Time. He's the one that keeps showing up throughout this whole movie, haunting her, really. And I was like, why him? Why is he the one who is specifically haunting her, and she's seeing him in reflections and in windows and all this kind of stuff? Why him? Because we never learn anything about him. We never learn anything about why he's dead or why he was at the carnival.
He looks a little bit old-timey. He's wearing a suit, a black suit. His hair is thin and white. It's a black and white film, so it's white, I guess.
Yeah. He's very pale, too.
He's very pale with dark circles around.
Yeah.
Indicating he's either emo or he's dead.
I shopped at Hot Topic for this.
What am I trying to say? Yeah.
Who?
Who?
We got a bunch of
Emo's
owls
not
in here.
dead?
I would guess dead.
Dead?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to go on dead.
Well, we got to talk about the movie a little bit more in order to draw conclusions.
We'll figure it out. Yeah, I just thought it was kind of an interesting choice that he was the one that was kind of haunting her, rather than, like, the ghost of the girls that she was in the car with, or... Because that's ultimately what she's, I think, dealing with in this
maybe
movie.
he's a Reaper.
He could be the Reaper.
No, that's a Reaper.
That's a good point, actually. Like, he is kind of this, like, a Grim Reaper-esque character that she keeps trying to run away from, but she just can't escape him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe she's trying to just, like, not accept of what happened.
Yep. He is that representation.
Because maybe
she never escaped. Maybe she could never escape her fate.
And she just wanted to have a normal, unfinished life. But what life does she even have?
Right. She's very stuck. And I think that makes even more sense in the end when we learn what happens. She is stuck. She ain't gonna move on. She ain't gonna
move on.
No way. But guess where we're going? We gotta go to church.
We gotta go to church.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's go to church. She's meeting the priest for the first time and showing her the organ that she'll be working at.
He's like, we're not one of those big churches, but we can draw a crowd, and we got this beautiful baby right here. This is a pride and joy.
And he's like, now that you're here, we should have a big reception for you, and let's have a celebration that our new organist is here. And she's like, no. Can we just
Is that necessary?
Can we just skip that, please?
Yeah.
She does not want to be seen.
No.
At all.
I wonder why.
Because she can't be.
She's cold.
She's cold. She is cold.
She's cold.
She's cold. And he's like, you can't live in isolation.
He's like, humans need other humans.
Yeah. But she just doesn't want that. She wants to be alone. She wants to be left alone, like we've said many times, and just do her job. And then that night, I believe she comes back, and she's taking a bath, actually, for the first time. And then she gets a knock at the door, and she thinks it's Miss Thomas. And she opens the door in a towel, and it's John, who is the
creepiest fucking person.
One of the he is the creepiest character of the movie, for sure. Creepier than Creepy Guy.
Yes.
He's creepier than Creepy Guy.
I would, in comparison, please take me Creepy Guy.
Yes.
Because
at least he can dance.
Yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't say much either, which is way better. John is the other person that's staying in this boarding house. The only other person that's staying in this boarding house.
It's just me, John, and you.
And he pushes his way into the apartment.
Yes.
She's in her towel.
In her towel. And that made him more, like...
Oh, my
just,
God.
like, licking his lips and... Ugh.
Yeah, she's like, whoa. Just stay out there for a second. And she's, like, pushes him out of the apartment. And...
doesn't close the door.
Cracked door. She, like, is changing into her... from her towel into her robe. And he's, like, watching her through the
just like,
slit of the door. Yeah, there's like a close up of his fucking eye, just like.
Yeah.
Yeah, John, not a cool dude, and she's very in this first scene with him, very like off put.
Yeah.
Scared of him, really.
Scared, standoff, all of the above.
Yeah, does not want him there, and he like pretty much forces his way into her apartment at the door. And he's like, hey, I heard you talking to Miss Thomas about missing dinner. I missed dinner, too.
Yeah,
so
I haven't eaten.
Maybe we can make this a thing.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, I already arranged to have dinner in my room. I don't want to do that. But he is very insistent.
Persistent.
Yes.
Finds every fucking line in the book to try to get her to... agree with him.
He's like, I'm not a man who likes to eat alone. Like making her feel like if you deny me, yeah, you're gonna feel guilty.
I'm gonna be eating alone.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
He is a fucking piece of work. He's awful.
Disgusting.
And she like I think it's like 3 or 4 times she has to say no to his asking to dinner. But he does finally leave.
I put ew, leave John.
Get the fuck out, John. You are the worst.
Ugh.
And she has this weird moment where she closes the door and then she like thinks about it for a second, and I think she is gonna go to either accept John's offer for dinner or apologize or something.
Yeah, there was like that kind of like romantic aspect that a lot of these like old-timey movies would do, where they would close the door and they'd be like, so charming, even though he was a fucking creep.
And that's where it was kind of confusing, especially I think partly because of her performance. It was hard to tell how she felt about him at times, like because she did seem charmed by him at some times. She also seemed completely off-put by him at times. So that moment was weird to me because I was like, what is her motivation to actually go to his door? I don't know.
It was not clear.
Yeah.
It was not clear. And, I mean, there were moments in which, yes, she was standoffish, and that was clear. And then there was, we're going to talk about it in a little bit, but, like, she was kind of charmed by at least just having a person there.
Mm-hmm. And
that is totally fine. If you just want something platonic and just talk to somebody and be seen, which are moments in which she's suffered a lot from not being seen.
Yeah.
So that's all she wanted from him, but no, he had to fucking always make it about sex and what he wants, and he's a man, and I need to get what I want, and it was so.
It definitely goes back to her character of like, she says that she likes to be isolated. She says that she wants to be alone, but I think she is yearning for someone to comfort her in the wake of this really traumatic event that she went through.
But it ain't John.
It ain't John.
Oh, God.
That is not the guy you want comforting you. But you're right. She's a little desperate.
He's like ready to like fucking paw her.
Yeah. The entire time. Ugh. And she goes to his door and she looks down the stairs and creepy guy's down there.
Creepy guy!
Hello. And he stands up.
Yeah, he's like sitting down and he stands up. And then walks away.
She runs back to her room and closes the door and we hear approaching footsteps and we're like, oh no, it's creepy man.
Fucking lock the door even though that lock doesn't do fucking shit.
Yeah, just do something, lady.
I'm like cussing a lot.
Fuck
you!
Fucking carnival of fucking souls. But guess what? It's not creepy guy at the door.
No.
It's Miss Thomas.
Hey, open the door.
Excuse me, open the door.
Open the door.
I have your dinner. Oh, the last thing she says is, "Don't drink the coffee if it keeps you awake."
Yeah, if it keeps you awake.
Nothing keeps me awake. And then she's just wide-eyed in bed later, just the widest eyes I've ever seen in my freaking life.
Yeah, are you awake? Are you sleeping with your eyes open? Or are you dead? Like,
all the above, maybe.
She was just like looking out the window. I mean, she gets up and
She
then
does
she
get up.
walks to the window
And looks at the building, looks at the pavilion, and it's like this, like,
oh yeah,
zooming
like
in shots.
zooming into the pavilion zooming into a rock in which we think she's at. Yeah, to the city.
Yes.
And then it does that like 3 times.
Yeah, it's like she's looking at the pavilion, the pavilion's looking back at her. Oh, and then the alarm wakes her up.
Yep.
The next day.
And then
Immediately after the alarm.
Hey, I thought you would. I heard you wake up and I had coffee already.
What a great wake-up call from fucking John, who's
What?
probably waiting outside her door.
Like a puppy.
Listening for the alarm to go off, and then immediately when he hears it...
Well, yeah, because the coffee needed to be ready already.
Right.
You know?
And it was immediately after that alarm.
I would not... No.
No.
First of all, leave me the fuck alone. I've already made that clear. Second of all, you're fucking creep.
You're a fucking creep. How long have you been outside that door?
He's ready.
He can barely, hold himself back.
Yeah. No. Oh, he's so disgusting.
Yeah, he comes in, and this is another, odd, questionable acting moment, because she seems very excited to see him. Mm-hmm. She's, smiling, and she's like, oh, this is just what I need, in the morning.
I wish it could have, and also with I think the script and the directions and everything, too, I wish there was a more clear, either loneliness or isolation that she was, feeling that she needed to break out of. And then maybe those moments with that moment in general with him would have been like, oh, fucking perfect.
Thank God.
Thank God.
A person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe, I guess we did. It was those moments they showed us was enough. She knows she's being stalked. She didn't sleep at all.
No. She needs the coffee.
So she needs the coffee, and she needed a person to be there, and a man,
Feel somewhat protected, and...
That man ain't gonna protect her.
No.
He was ready to rape her, too. So it's no.
Well, and he, too, they start having coffee with each other, and he takes out a bottle of alcohol. It's right in the morning, and he's tries to put it into her coffee.
And she's like, no.
She's like, no.
What did she say? Not the most recommended breakfast for the organist.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he was like, oh, man, you don't drink? He's like, well, not this early.
And he, kind of rationalized it. He's like, oh, I like to just start off with this so I wake up joyful.
Yeah, in a good mood.
In a good mood.
I want to be in a good mood. Don't you want to be in a good mood? And she's like, you must be hilarious by the afternoon.
Yeah.
And then this is when I'm like, are they flirting?
Exactly. She's, really, also flirting back with him in this moment.
Yeah, because then she was like, something about the evening, and then he's like, I'm also fun in the evenings, or something like that.
Yeah, I think she says, you're just what I needed this morning. And he's like, well, maybe I'm what you need at night, too.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh. Don't like that.
But, I mean, she laughed.
She laughed
it off.
Yeah.
And this man, what we can see is he's a greaser type. His hair's slicked back. His sleeves are rolled, and cuffed. His pants are cuffed, and he's wearing chucks and, a white t-shirt. So he's a greaser type. He's a cool, charming person, and has that kind of, kind of personality.
Yeah.
But it didn't come through, probably because of the bad acting, and it just came out real creepy.
Very creepy.
So I don't know if they were trying to make him really creepy, or they were trying to make him charming. Because that didn't translate.
It was hard to tell because he did make comments like multiple comments just within this scene about being what she needs. You know, maybe you need me tonight. Maybe I'm the guy that can help you. And then he also pushes the alcohol on her multiple times throughout this scene. Like, are you sure you don't want this? Like, why don't you drink? You know, like, it's, again, almost like telling her what she needs. Like, you need alcohol to feel okay.
You need alcohol.
You need me to feel okay. And
you need a man. You need sex. You need alcohol.
That's what you need to get through.
What do you need?
Yeah, and she's like, no, I'm good. I'm good. But she does a little bit seem charmed at the end of the scene when he leaves.
Yeah, because she was like, okay, now you have to go. I have to get started. And he's like, oh, he's like, I gotta work. And he's like, you gotta work too? And she's like, no, I have the whole day off. And they're like, what are you gonna do all day? Like, I'm gonna go shopping.
Shopping!
And that's when he was like, oh, yeah.
All right, Path. And she goes into the dressing room, and we have this, like, strange moment where she looks in the mirror, and, like, the camera becomes wavy.
Wobbly.
Yeah, warbly, wobbly.
Ooh.
What's happening?
And she's like, she feels it too. She's like, whoa.
I don't feel so.
The vibes are weird here.
You're woozy, man.
And she's, like, looking at herself in the mirror, too. She's, like, undressing. She's, like, about to go put on her dress, and then it was like, whoa.
Well, that was...
It disorients her enough for her to not know how to open the door. She's like, I'm locked.
What the fuck? Oh.
And I was like, are we going to go through the mirror?
Ooh.
I was like, are we going to go through the mirror? And then she, like, pushes a button, and I was like, oh, fuck. That's a missed opportunity.
Oh, she just forgot how to use a door handle.
Idiot.
Oh, right. Okay. And then when she goes out, no one can see her. She goes up to the...
And we don't hear anything.
Right.
It is silent.
Silent. You can't hear people talking. Why can't she see me? Why can't you see me?
God damn, that lady was tall.
That lady was tall.
She was tall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking tower. Excuse me, I'm down here.
Hi!
Hello.
Lady!
And she starts going through the store. No one else can see her. She starts walking on the street. Still no one can see her. It isn't until she wanders into this park and gets a sip of water that a man just, like, approaches her while she's... And we don't see the man's face, but she looks up at him and screams and tries to run away, but is quickly stopped by another man
grabbing her the fucking tightest. Oh, it looks like it hurt.
Calm down!
Calm down! I'm a doctor! Let me talk to you! Talk to me!
I can help you!
She's like, I guess, okay.
She's like, help! He's the man who's been following me. And,
what man? That's a man, for sure!
And the man's like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cause a fright to you. It's some random dude.
Yeah, it's like, I just wanted a sip of water.
I'm so thirsty.
And she's like, oh, but it was a bit.
And the doctor's like, my office is right across the street. Let's go to my office. I can, you can tell me all about it, essentially.
Okay. By doctor, I thought he meant therapist.
That's what I thought too.
A little bit later, he was like, well, I'm not a therapist. I might be doing more harm than good. And I was like, oh my God.
What the fuck?
Oh my God, yeah, you are. And then we keep going back to this doctor.
Yeah.
I'm like, bitch, I'm sure there's a therapist around here if you need one.
I hope so.
Because this motherfucker, first of all, he's a man. So he's like relating all of your symptoms to you just being, you know?
Guilt-ridden, I think is what he... Yeah, she like tells him the story of... This is honestly the first person that she's told the story of the accident that she's gone through. And then how she's been seeing this man who's been kind of stalking her. And he's just like, well, have you ever thought that these are just feelings of guilt, of survivor's guilt, and that it's you just seeing things and projecting your own emotions on other people? And she's like, what? No.
Like,
no.
Does this person look like a father, a boyfriend, a brother, a nephew, your grandpa?
Anybody.
Any male role in your family?
This figure represents guilt. And she's like, no, like, what are you talking about? This is real. He's just completely dismissive of everything that she's going through.
He's not a therapist.
And that's when he says, I'm not a therapist, I'm just a doctor, so what do I know, really? But listen to me.
And in the scene, as we have her sitting down in a chair, facing the camera, his back is against us and her. Mm-hmm. And then he turns around and he's like, sorry, I was writing something. And I'm like, you have a desk that's right there. Why are you writing over here?
Yeah, so it's like, you're telling me that you're writing things down and not really listening to her?
Not really listening to
her.
Now
you're giving a diagnosis that isn't even in your field to give.
Mm-hmm.
And...
Watch, he was a dentist or something.
I'm a vet, actually. I am a vet therapist, and
would you say this man looks like a horse, a goat, a pig?
Does this man look like a pen? Because maybe you have a hatred towards pens.
This doesn't anything to you. Now, does this look like your father? Your brother?
What? This is the diagnosis.
You're afraid of pens.
You're afraid of pens. That's my diagnosis, and it's correct, even though I don't know what I'm talking about.
I'm a vet, damn it.
I'm a vet, damn it. And she kind of is like dismissing kind of what he's saying too, thank God. Because then she starts going into her own diagnosis of like, you know what? I think I need to go to that pavilion.
Well, he says it first.
Oh, okay.
He was like, I think you are saying that this pavilion, something along the lines of like, this pavilion is where you are needing to go and whatever.
And she's like, yeah, you know what? I think you're right. I need to go see what's in that pavilion to realize that these are all just fantasies. I think she's like trying to be like, all right, if I go there and see that nothing's there, then these fantasies will stop and I'll feel okay. Mm-hmm. She just has to have that confirmation of herself that this is all fake. This isn't really happening. And she does. She does go to the pavilion that night. And she is walking through this carnival. We have her walking through this fun house, that like swirly like tunnel that she goes down. There's like a slide that like
a mattress
just slides down it.
Yeah.
And then she
goes kind of alive.
And then it eventually brings her into the dance hall, which is this massive, pretty much ballroom. Mm-hmm. I think in that moment when she's going through this dance hall and eventually goes to like the pier and looks out at this dried up beach, essentially, she's like, okay, there's nothing here. It's all good. And then she returns to the boardhouse and guess who's waiting outside? Fucking John.
Blech.
Waiting for her, and again is just like, you want to go to dinner?
I won't take no for an answer.
You will not. You will not. He's like pursuing, like she's like trying to walk to her room, and he's like, what, you don't like to eat?
Say,
dude.
Why don't you just like say, are you afraid of...
Yeah.
This is what he asked her, like, are you afraid of men? I'd be like, yes.
I'm afraid of you, man.
Yes. Are you a man? Yes, I'm disgusted and I'm afraid.
I'm afraid of you. And he's like, yeah, you seem really cold. And that kind of is the thing that gets her to finally agree to go out with him.
What else are cold?
Dead souls. Yoinks. And yeah, she's like, okay, you know what? I have to go to rehearse at the church tonight. Why don't you pick me up after? And he's like, yeah, finally.
Ching!
I did it.
I did it. Yes.
My persistence and creepiness finally did it.
This is the reason why I'm like this, because I get what I want. Eventually.
Yeah. And she goes to the church, and this is an interesting moment because she's rehearsing, and then she has this like weird moment where she looks at her hands. And then we have this like intense light that is only on her eyes. Mm-hmm. And she's like seeing the dead souls at the carnival.
Waking up, like submerging from the water.
Hello.
And then going out for a dance.
Dancing in the dance hall. And they're like spinning super fast.
So fast.
And then one of the creepy man stops dancing and looks at her and then just outreaches his hand and comes towards her, and then hands go onto her hands on the organ. And then it's the priest. It's the priest. And
what kind of devilish music are you playing here?
This blasphemous music.
Blasphemy!
We will not allow this in the house of God. You're fired.
You're resigned.
Yeah,
This is sacrilegious.
She doesn't even get one day at work. She only makes it to the rehearsal.
Yeah, she just went to the rehearsal.
And immediately is fired. And he's like, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
But don't give up on Jesus, because Jesus loves you.
Jesus loves you.
They go on their swinging date. And it's like a diner / like jukebox hall.
Mm-hmm.
People around them are dancing, and she's just like...
In the morning, it looks like it's a diner, and then at night, it's a place for young adults to go dance.
Yeah, we're dancing.
And be bad boys.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like slumped over, like fucking drinking his beer. And
his
then
Budweiser.
And she's just like dead inside.
He's like, hey, aren't you gonna drink? You don't drink?
What, you don't drink?
What, you don't drink? Yeah, that was expensive. Here. I'll drink it.
He just keeps pouring more in there, and she's like, oh, it's been a really tough day for me. And he's like, oh, yeah, whatever, like, I don't give a shit about what you're talking about.
He's like, what, you don't like dancing? You don't like drinking? What?
What do you like?
You don't even want me here.
Yeah, and he, there's this moment where he gets up and goes to talk to his friend.
He goes to change the music on the jukebox.
He's like, I'll get you moving. And then his friend is like, hey, that's not the normal pig you drag around. And he's like, yeah, I know.
He's like, stop licking your chaps. That one's mine.
I'm cooking her up for me. I'm getting her all warmed up for me.
He's like, well, what's in the stove? And he's like, yeah, no.
Ugh.
It was disgusting.
And then when he goes back to sit down with her, she's still pretty catatonic. But her thing now is she doesn't want to be alone anymore.
She doesn't want to
She's now really scared and terrified of the things that she's been seeing, and she just doesn't want to be alone. And unfortunately, this is the only person that she really has to be with.
No, look at the room full of people. Any gal, go talk to them.
Just go talk to anybody.
Literally go talk to Miss Thomas.
Yeah, it's true.
Just talk to her.
Yeah. But she feels stuck with fucking John. Sorry. Sorry, John.
It's so...
Or no, sorry, Mary.
I keep writing, I hate him.
Yeah.
I hate him. Ugh, I hate him.
Yeah, and he's like...
So gross.
Because now he's toying with her where she's like, I just don't want to be alone. I just need to be with someone.
That's
and he
enough for him.
And he's like, at first he's like, no, you don't want me. Forcing her to beg him to be with her. And she's like, no, please, I just don't want to be alone. I do want to be with you. I do like you. And he's like, all right, cool. Let's go be alone together.
Yeah. That's all I want. And then they go and it seems like he's drunk.
He's wasted after half a beer. Half a Budweiser. He's falling up the stairs.
Yeah, he's like,
let's go.
And then he's fucking throwing himself on her, and she's like, ugh, no.
Yeah.
But I do want you here. Just essentially just talk to me.
Just talk to me, make me feel, like you said, seen and protected. But he's only got one thing on his mind, and that is getting with Mary.
Because other than that, he has no, attraction to her. There's nothing in common.
Nope.
You know?
He never asked her about her. He never asks her why she's there. He only cares about fucking her. And that's it. And I think he thinks oh, this is what you need too. You
because
need
he
this
likes to chase too.
Mm-hmm.
She keeps going away from him, and he gets pissed off a little bit. And he's like, "Wait, this is fun. It is disgusting."
And she's there's this moment where she's looking in the mirror after pushing him off, and he like comes up to her and is like kissing her neck, and then she looks in the mirror and it's Creepy Man. She changes into Creepy Man and she says, "Gah! Ah! Ah!"
I don't want to be with a woman who's off her rockers.
And then he gets out of there. Thank God.
Thank God, because you know what? You ain't a fucking treat yourself, sir.
Yeah, you are not.
First of all, you look disgusting with your rolled up sleeves. It doesn't suit you because you have no muscle definition.
True.
Second of all, wash your hair. It looks like you haven't washed it for a year. Also, the greaser look doesn't fit you. Your ears are too big.
You can go on and on.
I can go on and on how gross you fucking are, you piece of shit.
Yeah. And he gets out of there and she starts like throwing shit around the room. She's like locking all the doors. She's like throwing
She's rearranging her room apparently all night.
Pushing the dresser in front of the door. She's terrified at this point. And then the next day she's determined to get out of there. She's dipping out. She's goodbye. Like, I am leaving this place and I am never coming back.
But yeah, her car is like making some noise.
And she pulls into the mechanic shop. She pulls onto like the elevator thing to look under the car. And she has this like weird moment where she like kind of like
she wants to rest. She probably did not get sleep at all.
She hasn't slept in 2 days, it seems. Because she didn't sleep the night before. And then she was rearranging her whole room the night before that night. So, yeah, she probably hasn't slept at all. Yeah. And then we hear approaching footsteps. And then someone makes the car go back down.
And then it opens the door. And then out of nowhere, she just starts running.
She just runs the fuck out.
She runs.
And she's like, I got to get out of here somehow. And she goes to the bus station. And that's when warbly again, wavy. We know what that means. No one can see her.
And no one can hear her. She can't hear anything. She goes and tries to get a ticket, and then the guy doesn't hear her, and then somebody comes in, and they're having an interaction and stuff. Yeah. And she's like, fuck, it happened again.
Why can't anyone see me? And then she just runs to get onto a bus. And when she gets on the bus, full of dead souls. They're like,
and she's like,
She tries to escape, but they like lock a door on her and she can't get out. And then she tries to go up to a policeman. He can't hear her. She tries to get into a taxi. He drives off. She goes back to the doctor's office because she's like, you're my last hope. I came here and I don't know what to do. I'm being stalked. His back is turned to her. Turns around. Creepy dude. Hey, it's me. I'm a doctor now.
She runs up to the camera and she does one of those.
And then wake up. She's actually waking up.
Why did you put on a little makeup?
Wake up. So makeup.
You wanted to.
Nice.
Anyways.
She wakes up. She's back in the mechanic shop. And she had fallen asleep, I guess, in her car. And peels the fuck out of there. Skeet skirt. But where does she go?
Pavilion.
Pavilion time.
Where your dreams can come true.
And her dreams goes back to the dance hall, and we got some dead souls dancing again.
Dancing.
Doing their spinning.
Doing their fucking twerking.
Yeah. Wake up.
You want this?
What is the makeup? Oh, God.
You don't want this? Why is this haunting you?
You want it. You want it. And so they're making the WAP bounce, and she's watching them, and then she starts to see herself dancing with the creepy man, and she's got the dead face too. And then she's like, no, I'm not dead. I'm not dead.
I'm not dead.
She starts running away. They're chasing her through the pavilion, under the boardwalk. They're like coming around corners.
Coming up from the fucking camera like,
Creepy man like comes out of a bush at one point.
Yeah, and it's so funny because they're laughing.
Yeah, they're smiling.
At one point, I swear I thought she was laughing too.
I know. I saw that she's like running. It looks like she was like screaming,
laughing. Yeah,
it was very strange.
It was really strange.
And they eventually chase her into like the dried up sand or whatever, where the water once was, and she falls, and then the dead souls just
Brother.
engulf her.
Snatched. She's part of them now.
Welcome.
You're going to be dancing for the rest of your life.
You're dancing forever. And then we have this little scene of the cop, the doctor, and the priest, like, following her like, footsteps in the sand. And they're like, this is where it ends. And she disappeared. We're men, and we can't figure out this mystery. Oh, my God.
Well, there was literally no other footsteps.
Right. It just ended.
Yeah. Well, where the fuck?
Well, and it also reminded me of the beginning scene of this group of men looking for this car under the water, and they can't find it. It's like a complete mystery. We gotta solve this, but they can't. They can't. They don't know what happened.
Look at all the cold cases from the 60s.
Mm-hmm. All these men who were like, you have like a police officer who's there to serve and protect. You have the priest who is like telling her that she's got to accept God for savior. We have the doctor who's telling her a diagnosis of what'll help. But they can't solve this mystery. You know, all these men who think that they have the answers. No.
Not this one.
And then the final scene is they do finally find. We cut back to the bridge, and they do finally find the car that was lost. Pull it up. The tow truck starts to pull it up. We see the car, and who's in the car? All three of them, Mary included. Dead.
Yeah, she literally like blinked or
yeah.
something.
You're not so dead.
Yeah, no, you're not so dead, girl.
You ain't dead. The end.
Yeah, that's it.
That was it. She's dead. It felt very Twilight Zone-y.
It was.
It was like
I'm wondering if I was an episode from Twilight.
Oh.
You know, that they just expanded into it made me feel like Twilight Zone is very much our, you know, Black Mirror.
Yes.
Because there's some amazing episodes in that.
And there's amazing episodes in Twilight Zone, too.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, why not just grab a little episode and expand it and then fucking make a movie?
Mm-hmm.
That makes... Well...
Yeah, because...
It makes sense, but it
ish.
was not fucking satisfying.
Because that was my question at the end. It was like, okay, she was dead in the car the whole time, but all those guys did see her when she came out of the water. And also all these other people saw her in Utah. Was that just like a wandering spirit? Or...
Yeah, I mean, my only explanation about that is that yes, like, she was... I think she did come out of that water. She was the only survivor for a little bit. She was trying to make a life out of the little life that she had, but it just wasn't... It wasn't satisfying to the dead people. They're like... Apparently, they're like, why do you get to live? Come and join us. Like, look how much fun we're having.
Yeah. And she was just the entire time trying to fight against the truth of the situation.
She was already dead to begin with.
Yeah. And her character is just kind of a lost soul anyway. You know, she's doesn't have any passion. She's kind of moving with the wind and just seeing where life takes her and no real direction in her life. And so... she's just kind of wandering around. Yeah. And she ultimately realizes that she never was alive, you know? She never lived. And I think that might go back to who her character was before the accident of like, she's just kind of wandering through life and not really having that much purpose. And even in death, she is kind of that same person too. She's
just like... Because when they were dancing, she was just like bobbling around. Like a little bobblehead.
Carnival of Souls.
Yeah. So I guess the moral of this story is have some passion.
Have a passion.
Do go with the wind if that is what draws you. But find some passion. discover it.
Yeah.
Have hobbies. Have friends. Don't isolate yourself.
Yeah, and make those decisions for yourself. You know, it's okay to be going with the wind, but don't let other people control or try to control how you should live your life. Because that's what all the men were trying to do in this movie to her. And she just wanted to be alone. She just wanted to...
Yeah. She didn't need a partner.
Disassociate.
She was asexual.
She's asexual.
Absolutely.
She did kind of look like Barbie, so she had no genitals. No nipples, either.
We didn't see her body.
Well...
We saw her feet.
Ooh, sexy.
And in water.
Oh. For the 60s, that's very... It's Harvey.
That is true.
Ooh. Hot. Wow. All right. Carnival Soul from 1962.
Woohoo.
All right. Well, let us get to some Smash Pumpkin ratings.
Yeah. Smash Pumpkin.
So what do you think about Carnival Souls? Do it. You want me to go first? Or do you already have a rating in mind?
I already have one, but it's going to be... One.
1 out of 5.
1.
Wow.
I'm giving it a 1 because I did like some of the visuals.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they did a really good job with lighting and special effects. So that like wavy, I think all of that was translated. We knew that she was no longer in the same space.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm trying not to be too mean. But I think the script needed a little bit of help. I think also that would have elevated with the acting if it was a little bit better. And I like the location. I like the carnival. I thought that was really great. But I think there was just like a lot of lost opportunities of really cool imagery and moments like we could have done to kind of expand on the other worldly because when she did step into that deserted abandoned space in the beginning, it gave me Spirited Away vibes in the sense that like there, like we talked about before the cameras, but like there's energy that's trapped there that is luring her, that is inviting her, like this is where she belongs kind of thing. But I think they could have really done a little bit more with that.
Yeah.
I didn't care too much about her actual fucking life.
No.
Because that was boring as shit.
Yeah.
When she stepped into the carnival, I was like, yes, come on, let's do it. I am excited. I thought there was going to be even more imagery, more shadow work. And there wasn't.
Yeah.
So I was kind of disappointed.
I agree. I felt like there was way more... I thought, honestly, we were going to spend way more time in the carnival itself. We were only there twice. We spent way more time in the town than I thought we were going to. So I agree that there was definitely lost opportunities of cool visuals and cool moments that we could have had with these spirits. I agree that I think one of the strongest points of this movie was the visuals. Mm-hmm. I love the reflection stuff. I love the seeing through the windows parts. There was some really cool effects that they were kind of doing with that. And then, so I can definitely give it, the visual part was the strongest part. And then I guess, some of the themes that we had been talking about, and I think that they were trying to explore some of these ideas of moving on and trying to find yourself and find your true purpose, and pushing against what other people are trying to put on you. I think that, that was there. But unfortunately the script wasn't that strong. The acting wasn't that strong. And then the actual ending didn't feel like that satisfying, like, oh, she's dead, done. It wasn't that like nice, smooth landing. I'm going to give it a 2 out of 5, because I can give it to the visuals, and then I'll give it to some of the themes that they were exploring. So yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. That's
Same.
it.
Yep.
And not to say that I hated watching it at all. There were parts that were enjoyable to me, but in the end, as a whole, wasn't the greatest movie I saw.
No.
That's okay though.
Visually, I think it is a captive movie for film folks, because they did really cool stuff with it, and I wish they could have expanded on that. I mean, as soon as we ended the movie, I was already editing stuff out, and I'm like, these are the moments that I think they could have expanded, or literally just had the movie just be that.
Yeah.
Of the, moments that I wanted to gravitate towards.
Yeah.
And a lot of it had nothing to do with the script. Remove the script.
Yeah.
Literally no talking. Have it be a silent film and have her move through. I mean, I know her job was an organ, and that's sound, but...
Yeah. Even with a silent film, like, the music is the only thing that you're hearing. So that could have been, like... Mm-hmm. The music was a huge part of the movie. And a huge backing of the whole movie. And I agree. You didn't need anyone talking through this movie. It could have been purely visual.
No one talked.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway,
Carnival of Souls.
Carnival of Souls, everybody.
Well, I guess we need to pick out what we're watching next week.
Yes.
Let's do it. Is it me or is it you?
I think it's me.
All right, do it.
Right?
Yeah, sure. I don't know what it's going to be, so...
Ooh,
all right, here we go. What do we got?
What do we got? I'm not going to even see it myself. In 1961...
Back in the 60s, y'all.
A divorced Catholic couple is turned upside down when one of their 2 adolescent daughters is suspected of her younger sister's brutal murder during her first Holy Communion and a series of subsequent stabbings.
Whoa. All right. Interesting. What do we got? What are we watching?
Alice, Sweet Alice.
Alice, Sweet Alice.
Oh.
Ooh. This was another movie that was on the list of movies you've never seen, but you should see.
Yeah.
What year?
That's so funny. 1976.
76.
Well,
all right.
All right.
Cool. We will see Alice, Sweet Alice.
Sweet
next
Alice.
week. Cool.
Well, awesome.
All right. Well, let's get out of this carnival, huh?
Yeah. I can juggle. Anyways, okay.
All right.
All right, bye, everybody.
Bye. And the end.
The end.
Just like the movie.
That wasn't
suddenly
satisfying,
ended.
right? Fuck this movie. Anyways, you can follow me, Color Me Leslie.
And me at BP Richie T. Also, the Deadlights Pod. That's
Follow us. Follow
and
us.
also check out Playground Social, which is a studio that we're recording at.
Mm-hmm.
But until next week.
That's spooky, yeah. I'm a scary person.